Hello to my fellow Limeys and Spoonies and chronic illness people out there. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. Had a look. Um, Hope everybody's doing well today here in Pennsylvania. We've got a nasty situation outside. It was freezing rain and sleet, and it's just now switching over to snow. When I got up this morning, when I finally got up this morning, my normal, hard morning with Lyme, I don't know what it was, 9 or 9:30. It was 25 degrees and pouring down rain, so you know what that spells ice. And I don't plan on going anywhere today with it being like this. Um, I haven't been really going anywhere during the middle of the week anyhow these days. I've been busy with studying and schoolwork and and then just kind of trying to rest and treat this Lyme and everything. And so yeah, I know a lot of people, myself included, have had probably a rougher week than normal. The last week or week and a half, I I had a lot of back pain, which I never have. Well, never normally. I mean, before Lyme, but it was a lot of lower back muscle pain, and I didn't do anything to hurt it or anything like that. And the weird thing was it went away after a few days, and then it came back again, for a couple days, and so it's kind of like that normal. What they call like a migratory, Lyme pain, where it, moves around. One day it's in your left knee, the other day it's in your right shoulder, and moves around like that. So I've had a lot of that, and it's not just weather related with this messy weather. A lot of us out there have been struggling this week, and it seems like just about everybody has felt, worse than their normal, crappy normal. I think we call it. I think a lot of us have agreed, it had something to do with that full moon, but even worse than normal. So yeah, I've had my normal crappy mornings, and where it just takes me a while to get moving. And normally, I don't know if I've ever done like a, how my day with Lyme goes video or whatever you want to call it. I struggle for a couple hours trying to get awake and get my arms and legs moving. And so, haven't been able to do a whole lot physically lately. As you can see behind me, it's still a mess. And it's probably in the same shape it was the last video I made, whenever that was, about a week ago. And so, yeah, it takes me a while to get moving. And then, what I typically do is get up and make a mug of tea and grab my herbal tinctures and some of the things that I take first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and head back to bed. And that's my typical morning routine lately, is to do that and just lay there and listen to some music, listen to some podcasts, take some of the things that I need to take, and just try to rest for a little while before I finally get up and make breakfast, which is what would be for most people brunch. It's normally somewhere between 10:30 and noon by the time I finally eat, depending on how I feel that day. Very rare that I have a day that I can just wake up early and get out of bed and get moving. It doesn't happen very often, very, very rare. And I did have a lot of, probably a little bit before that full moon, it always seems to hit me before it, and I had a lot of weird insomnia, and either nights where I would, maybe wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and then not be able to go back to sleep for a few hours, and then, and then just kind of toss and turn until I finally get up in the morning. Or, I did have a 1 or 2 mornings where I'd wake up at maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 and not be able to go back to sleep. So just give up and start my day. But that's unusual for me. So I know a lot of you have been out there, struggling this week, and just know you're not alone. We're all with you. We're all feeling, you know, a lot of the same things, even though everybody's different. You know, everybody's got a different, you know, picture of what's going on in their body with different infections and different, you know, terrain in their body and everything. There's also a lot of things that we have in common too that, you know, we can, you know, I just thank everybody out there in, you know, the Lyme community of how encouraging they are to each other and to me, and you know, helpful with, you know, just information, and with, you know, friendly, you know, comments and prayers and all that. So, you know, we're a kind of, you know, a Lyme family, I guess you could say, a Lyme community out here, you know, sort of on our own, but, you know, we're not on our own because we have each other. So I just thank you all for that. And I've been doing pretty much the same thing this week that I did last week, you know, where I just kind of chilled for a few days and doing, you know, like a pardon me, semi-fast with, you know, what I was talking about. I can't even remember what I said in that last one. Maybe I'll just kind of re-say it here. I've been, you know, doing not a total fast, which I don't think would be good for me right now. But I've been doing my, you know, my green drink smoothies in the morning, NutriBullet smoothie, you know, with a lot of good stuff in there, you know, healthy stuff. Actually, I've been doing that twice a day. That's been basically my brunch and my, I guess you could say, my late lunch, which ends up being 3 or 4 o'clock. You know, so I've been doing that, and I've been doing just everything that I, you know, have as part of my protocol for the things that you know I want to do, and, you know, I don't want to cut them out. Even though I'm doing a little bit of a fast, I don't want to stop doing some of that stuff. So another one, you know, as I've shown you lots of times, is my probiotic drinks, you know, my kefir and kombucha and jun and all that kind of stuff. And my throat's bothering me here today. I don't know why. You know, I'm doing all that. I'm doing some bone broth. You can probably see behind me there. Got a crock pot going right now. Homemade bone broth. I try to avoid store-bought bone broth because, you know, you don't know what's in it, and I use it occasionally, you know, but I use it as, you know, part of my my mushroom extracts that I take, you know, the medicinal mushrooms. I like to put that in there, and you know, tastes good, especially when it's cold and snowing like this. And so yeah, I've been doing that. On the weekend, I still did all that stuff, you know. And one other thing that I'm doing is, you know, the arthritis tea, the Bruner formula arthritis tea, and also the chronic fatigue formula, a bunch of herbs and stuff, and I put that in my smoothies. And then one other thing I've been doing lately is called turmeric milk, and it's you basically take coconut milk and put some black pepper and cayenne and a whole bunch of cinnamon and a whole bunch of turmeric in there, and warm it up, and do that once a day. And it's really good for your guts, really good for leaky gut, really good for, you know, just healing your gut, which, as you probably all know, I've been doing antibiotics, you know, for a long time, so that can take its toll on the gut. So I try to do everything I possibly can, probiotic-wise and prebiotic-wise, and recently started doing this turmeric milk, which seems to be helping a lot too. You know, every once in a while I start noticing a little bit, you know, issues going on there, and you know, and that was part of the reason why I'm doing this semi-fast. I guess you could say, you know, I wasn't as strict as I should be on diet. It would be probably what most people would consider strict, but I was doing, you know, some gluten-free snacks, and, you know, a little bit here and there, just, you know, some stuff that was a little bit starchy, you know, processed stuff that most people would consider health food, but, you know, I like crunchy, salty snacks now and then, so I kind of cut all that out for now. And over the weekend, you know, I didn't do this complete fast per se. I did some salads and some chicken in the form of wings. A couple times, you know, Super Bowl had some chicken wings, and but other than that, you know, I was pretty good, and you know, maybe had a little bit of snacks, not very much. You know, I get gluten-free you know, crackers and chips and stuff like that. And because I developed a gluten intolerance through this whole thing, you know, that I never had before. So I have to be careful with that. Even if I go out to eat, I have to be careful what's in things. Um, so, you know, I'll avoid dressings and different things like that, and just ask for their olive oil and vinegar or whatever, you know, and got my wings with dry rub seasoning on, no sauce, because you don't know what sugar or what flour, what gluten they have, you know, or whatever chemicals in a lot of this stuff, processed stuff. So I'm back on, you know, this week back on the semi-fast kind of thing, just doing all the things that I just mentioned, and in the evenings I've been doing kind of a stir fry of vegetables, you know, for my one kind of solid meal of the day. Just doing a lot of kale and collard greens and things like that. Actually, last night I did a stir fry of a bunch of turnip and parsnips and a bunch of greens and garlic and you know, do it in some coconut oil, and then later on, you know, as it's just about done, dump some olive oil and some vinegar, apple cider vinegar in there, and so I've been doing that mostly for dinner, and then every once in a while I might have a couple nuts. I've been part of my regimen is a couple Brazil nuts a day that has, you know, some certain vitamins in there, and some seeds, a little bit of seeds, you know, for just a little bit of a snack. Usually about this time of day, you know, I might, in between my two smoothies of the day, I might want a little bit of a snack and eat a handful of nuts and seeds. And then, you know, in the evening, if I've gotten really hungry again, you know, instead of snacking on something snack-wise, I've been just having a little bit of protein, maybe, you know, a little bit of chicken breast, or, you know, some quality cans of sardines or something like that, just some kind of protein, you know, put some olive oil on it, you know, something that's filling, you know, but not, you know, not starchy or anything like that. Just trying to avoid doing that in the evenings, you know. Just like I said, a couple times I've noticed, you know, my stomach starting to bother me a little bit. You know, I don't know if it's the antibiotics or what it is, or something to do with Lyme. Um, so I've been just doing this as a little bit of an experiment to see how it goes, and it, you know, I've been feeling really good uh, as far as stomach wise, and, you know, things like that while I've been doing this. So, you know, obviously still I'm having a lot of the brain fog and, you know, fatigue, and the fatigue's been a lot better lately. You know, it comes and goes and waxes and wanes, but you know, if I look back to what it was, you know, months ago, it's way better than what it was. So, you know, I've been doing a lot of things like for that. So, you know, I'm thinking about doing a separate video talking about all that, because it's such a huge issue for all of us. I'll try to get around to that soon. So maybe I'll stick a couple pictures on here, you know, what I did for that stir fry, you know, last night, to show you, you know, just what I'm doing for dinners. And I've had a couple people ask me questions about, you know, some of these concoctions that I make, the, you know, the smoothies and the chronic fatigue formula and the arthritis tea and the, you know, the turmeric milk that I just mentioned. Maybe, you know, if anybody wants me to do more in depth, you know, of exactly, you know, what's in those. Wow, it's like a blizzard out there right now. I don't know if I can turn this camera around or not. Let's see if I can do that and show it. I don't know if the camera's I don't know if the camera is picking that up. Sometimes it doesn't pick up snow so well. So yeah, it's coming down really hard. It looks like the wind has changed directions and it's turning back to snow now. So that's better than ice, but it's going to be snow on top of ice. So like I said, I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. So hope you all are doing good. You're all in my prayers and thoughts, and just thanks for watching, and just please leave any comments or questions below that you got in mind, and I'll talk to you soon.